coming up to a very interesting point in this market because we have now retraced into support and we've started to slow down in this range as well. And as we know very well, we've already covered this a lot on this YouTube channel. If you're kind of trending up in an aggressive way and then you kind of keep trending up but it just gets a little bit slower, a lot of the time this right here is going to be display of momentum being lost, right? It's going to be a display of the market losing momentum and starting to go from a very aggressive trend to a less aggressive trend, and then naturally you might anticipate that that's going to result in a reversal. And if that's how you think, then you'd be 100% right in so many different situations, because that's what happened with this market, right? We've started off with a very aggressive uptrend. Take a look at this, right? Something a little bit like this. Let's make this a nice big red line. And then it really kind of tapered off and it's now resulted in that kind of pullback. And this is a really important key market characteristic that we've been looking at on this channel for a while. Those of you that are subscribed and that have been smashing up the like button, thank you all so much. You're going to be intimately familiar with these type of concepts. And by the way, if you haven't done so already, the content on this channel is always going to be super time sensitive. So definitely make sure that you are showing the algorithm a little bit of love. Helps both of us out as well. So thank you for that. But I think this is a really big deal because when you get these kind of signs, you can start anticipating these reversals. And it's very, very reliable, right? Because it just shows you that you're not coming at it with the same vigor that you originally had. But it also works the same going down. You see, when you're originally trending down quickly, but then you start trending down a little bit slower, that can also be a sign that your kind of reversal is going to be coming next and you could be bouncing up. And if this tapering off, if this kind of relaxation of the downtrend happens in a support box, then that's even more cause to be bullish. And so far, that's the exact situation that we have on this chart, right? We've kind of slowly started to just stabilize around this support level now. And this is after rising, quite nicely above it. I mean, from the very top of this box to the high, Bitcoin managed to move up by 3.4%. And that is very subjective depending on where you draw the box. But it's still a nice margin. And I think we've drawn these boxes pretty accurately on this YouTube channel. If you kind of want to, pause the video here and just kind of assess how nicely drawn my boxes are and kind of compare them to yours, then please feel free. You can take a look at this right here. But this is a really nice, fair way to draw these levels, in my opinion. And clearly, the market is finding a little bit of support here. And it puts us at a really interesting place because sentiment is just all over the place, right? Depending on who you ask, this is a market that's going to drop down to $60,000 again, or this is a market that's going to go up to $100,000 with no pausing. Now, there's a lot of different ways to measure sentiment, and I want to show you them in this video, but one of the best ways in my experience is the Fear and Greed Index. And the Fear and Greed Index is not congruent with what I just said. The Fear and Greed Index is very, very bullish, and it doesn't leave much room for interpretation. So I do want to put this out there. It's not super often that I disagree with what the Fear and Greed Index says. I don't hail it as the most reliable source of data at all. It's not the most reliable source of data. And by the way, if you're curious how this data is aggregated, and if you're not curious, get the fuck off my YouTube channel. I'm actually serious. Get off, because you clearly don't take this stuff seriously. Please, seriously, take this chance to exit yourself and just leave the intelligent people who truly want to know what's going on in these markets. I don't, it's very hard to entertain people who, want to get rich in these markets but don't want to understand how the markets work. You're better off just not being in the market so you don't lose your money. But here's how the data is compiled, and I just think that this is not mega comprehensive. I think it's very good. I think it's kind of the best you can get, to be honest, but it still has its limitations. So I think that's important. But if we come back to the chart here, I think the reason that this is such a compelling kind of chart for me is just the fact that we've now had so much time for our indicators, right? I mean, again, we look at our 4-hour Ichimoku cloud, and today's the 22nd, but if we're here for the next 4 days, we're in Ichimoku support. If we manage to get a quick kind of dip down, literally as soon as 2 days from now, which is Thursday or even Wednesday, we are going to be in this support cloud. And this is the kind of bottom of the support range that I drew for you guys yesterday. I actually drew the box a little bit higher. Actually, no, I think this looks about right. And this is kind of like my reserve support zone. Bitcoin very, very often has deviations below key levels. Sometimes you get a key level like $60,000 and then you get that quick kind of grab beneath the level. Most recently, it happened over here. But it doesn't mean that the support was broken. It just means that the market kind of deviated below it, grabbed some liquidity, and then came back up. It's really typical. It happens, with key resistance levels like it did up here. And it even happened with the all-time high. We had this really nice kind of zone that Bitcoin kind of established throughout the course of this year. But the very first time we deviated above that zone, before the zone's created, mind you, but still the same point. And all of that is to say that, in my experience, if I'm looking for support and something to kind of substantiate a reason to buy Bitcoin, then I'm also happy to look at the next support level below it and just see if it lines up with important levels. And it does line up with some rejections. It does line up with the body of this rejection here. It lines up with some key reversals and some consolidation that's taken place. I think most of it is going to be kind of reversals. And it's not perfect, right? I mean, it's not the best level on the chart, but I think it's very good as kind of, like this is the main area, liquidity grab down here kind of thing. And that's why my invalidation level is still going to be down here. My real invalidation is here. It would be bad if we kind of got below this level, but I don't think it would be over, and so my very real invalidation is going to be kind of 65, and everywhere below this, and I'm going to basically expect that we're coming down to 63 or 61. There are a ton of support levels in this range. It's very easy to pick out a level that Bitcoin could bounce at, so I'm not worried about that. And I do think that this is a chart now that has had a lot of time to kind of mature and catch up to its kind of key. Take a look at this, our 1 hour Ichimoku cloud. Not only has it caught up to it, it's fallen out of it now and it's developed resistance, right? So we've been here for long enough now that kind of depending on what time frame you're looking at, and more importantly, if you're looking at longer term time frames, you're going to start to see that the market is ready to move up. And that to me is very, very exciting. On the 4 hour time frame, we've lost this EMA ribbon as well, very nearly. But again, these are good things to me, because if you lose this EMA ribbon and you kind of keep trending sideways or keep ranging sideways or trending down, then actually what's happening here is you're giving the market a chance for longer term support to catch up. I mean, this EMA ribbon is now at the bottom of my yellow box on the daily time frame, and we were talking about this yesterday, how given time, this market is probably going to get stronger as these indicators continue to curve upwards. And I think that's a really, really big deal, because it shows us that if we do just kind of hold sideways here for a little bit and let the market figure itself out, it's actually probably going to be okay. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far. It is, however, and I should note this, it is so far moving very similar to last time, which was not good. Last time we got this kind of reversal, but then, we tried again and it didn't work out and we kind of dropped back down. So far, we're definitely doing something that looks similar, especially similar to this stuff here. We're kind of doing that right now. So I do want you to keep an eye out for that. Obviously that soured last time and it could sour again. But for me, the reason that I'm saying I don't think that's going to happen is, well, first of all, look at this back test. I mean, I've been saying that I think we broke out for quite some time. I've largely had my chart drawn like this for quite some time. And by the way, those of you who are subscribed, you're going to remember that we were talking about this chart months ago, way before it looked like this, way before anybody else. We just kind of spotted it and we were talking about it on live streams and videos. That's what you get on this YouTube channel in terms of super time sensitive content. When you smash those likes and subscribe buttons up, that's what's going to be delivered to you. So if you like the sound of that, definitely feel free to do so. And if you like the sound of free money, these exchanges are going to give you free money when you start trading using my links down below, which is super, super cool, because it's basically a shortcut, right? Depending on what you start trading with, they're going to give you more money in your account, and any profits you make with that money are going to be yours to withdraw. Any losses are going to be eaten by the exchange. So fuck them, take their money and do whatever the hell you like with it. That's what I say. And if you do want to check them out, Bybit's going to be the best in the game. Apex is their decentralized exchange, so that's where you get full custody of your money. And Blowfin is a phenomenal alternative to them all, a very, very solid option, and it's got better bonuses than Bybit as well. So definitely check them out if you're interested, but always check your laws first before you engage in any of these platforms. But back to this market here, really nice bull flag pattern, very clearly breaking out of it now and back testing it as well. And this is the picture that you're seeing across the board, right? I mean, you're seeing a picture of a nice uptrend with, so far you've had one little pullback here, one normal pullback, and now another little one right here. And that's fine with me. That's enough for this thing to keep going up. If it wants to correct down even more, then good. That's fine with me too. I would be very happy to see both of those things happen. But clearly we're in a pretty good posture right now. And at the same time, sentiment and people are indicating things like this are going to happen. And I can prove this to you. I mean, first of all, we've got Rover showing the same chart right here. He's drawn it ever so slightly differently. I actually like the way he's drawn it here because he's using parallel channels, because this gets the point across a little bit better. A lot of people think that your lines have to perfectly touch everything. They have to perfectly touch resistance, perfectly touch support. Look, the best you can do is good, right? But I think parallel channels when you draw something using parallel channels like this instead of a normal range, what you're saying is it doesn't matter if we're exactly finding resistance in the same line, and it doesn't matter if we're exactly finding support in the same line. What we're doing here is we're skipping accuracy in favor of just understanding the point. And I really like that, because a lot of people get caught up in bullshit. It's just procrastination. That's all it is. They start analyzing all sorts of really weird fringe stuff, but they miss the point. Using something like this is basically a lazy person who's like, I can't be bothered drawing it accurately, and it doesn't matter because the point is the same. And it's 100% correct, and I think it's the right way to approach these markets. Rover's a smart guy. Definitely check him out if you're interested. But what I want to show you is what's going on the trading feed, because I don't know, we'll see how it's looking, but I've been seeing a lot of kind of bearish sentiment. I mean, it's all over the place, right? There's a lot of bullish sentiment too, but I've been seeing charts that really suggest that we could be kind of dipping down quite deep. It looks like it's just a lot of memes and news today, though, so not a whole lot that I can show you right now. But we do have a ton of other tweets that I do want to go through with you, so we'll take a look at that in a little bit. But I think you can understand this. Maybe some of you watching are probably thinking the same thing, that we're coming back down here as well. So that's part of a healthy functioning market. You've heard me say this a million times, right? I mean, you want people to be saying different things in the market. That's how you get the market to function and the market to move. So that's a really good thing in my opinion. But I think that this is pretty settled at this point now. Obviously, I think it's going to depend on traditional finance more than anything, and the S&P 500 couldn't be showing me better signs. It's set an all-time high and it's consolidating. The last time that it started consolidation was 26 days ago. The consolidation period until we broke it lasted about 2 weeks. So far, we've been in this range for about 8 days, so coming up to that 2-week mark at the end of this week. And so if that means kind of Friday or Monday next week we start to get that continuation, that would be pretty fair, pretty standard routine, pretty normal. And I think it would also be what really allows Bitcoin to mature and marinate a little bit in its current price range before being sent off for that lift off. I really do believe that that's how this market could be going. So, and let me know how you feel about this in the comment section too. I'd love to know where you guys are with your head as well for this market. I do want to highlight, we've been getting a lot of requests for people for our one-to-one program. It's super high end. We've had amazing results for it. If you want to get access to it, then follow the link in the description down here for direct contact to me. And then myself or a member of my team will reach out to you and give you information on that package. It's going to be a very expensive investment, and it's going to require some serious time and focus. It lasts 12 weeks. And we have had people outpacing what they've spent in terms of savings and gains easily with no problem, very quickly, often within the first week or two. It's, the investment fee has been paid off multiple times. That's going to vary, and it's going to depend on bankroll. This is going to be for people that are trading with larger sums of money. I'd say kind of a portfolio that's anything above kind of 50K usually, can comfortably get in on this. But it's worth checking out if you fit into that. We've had a lot of people reaching out. So I do want to highlight that if you're interested, you can reach out for that. If we do come back to the market here, upside targets stay the same. Now that we've gotten this pullback, I think that if Bitcoin activates again, I don't think it's going to be a kind of slow move up. I think if Bitcoin activates again, it's just going to shoot up basically within a day or two. I don't think it's going to be a slow move anymore. And the reason I'm saying that is because we have come down and captured some support here. So naturally, when you do capture that support, you're in a much stronger position to start kind of rising up. And that can result in your rises being a little bit faster as well. So that's how I'm going to anticipate this move going. It's clearly slowed down, right? I mean, basically from this candle onwards, the market had slowed down, and from that point up until now, that means about 8 days straight where we've seen the market kind of slow down a little bit and recoil, and that's totally normal, right? You're going to have some aggressive uptrend, you're going to see it slow down, and then when it slows down, it's going to reverse, and so we're seeing that happen, a nice aggressive uptrend, slowing down, reversal, but then that reversal just leads you into a support zone, which we've done right here, and then you're back off to the races again. So that's kind of how I would see this going. And I did outline for you guys that kind of trade setup that I was looking at yesterday, and it's still something I'm very interested in. I still haven't set those orders, but I think I might do so right after this video. Just something a little bit like this. I don't know where that stop loss would be exactly. I still got to look at that, but it's not actually hard to choose a stop loss or a target, and I think that it's such an easy high probability position. I mean, that doesn't mean that it has to work out. People think that if I execute a trade, it means it must be a profit, otherwise whatever. That's just silly. I've lost money so many times. I'm gonna lose money many more times in the future. I am the first person to tell you stuff like that. Nobody else is quick enough, as quick as that, to tell you that they've lost money in the market. But the reason that I'm overall doing very well is because I just look for high probability setups, and then I detach myself from the outcome. I feel like if taking your trading seriously is important to you, you can just cut out those last kind of 20 seconds I've just said and stick them on your fridge and on your forehead and on your wife's forehead as well, to make sure you always see it. And that would be the most important thing to remember as a trader. To repeat that, it is basically that I'm going to be putting my best foot forward every single time, and I'm going to be choosing the best high probability setups I can find. But then I'm just going to be detached from the outcome, and I'm just going to fuck off. I'm not even going to look. I'm not even going to look. I'm just going to go away, and I'm going to have my alerts set so that the market brings me back when I need to be back. But between now and the point when the market brings me back, I ain't looking. I don't care. If my alerts haven't gone off, then we're not in an interesting price range. What do I have to see? Do you know what I mean? That's a really, really different approach than what most people have. It's a more boring approach. It's a less exciting approach. It's zero excitement because I literally am not even looking. But it's an approach that makes money. So ultimately, it's a balancing act, right? A lot of people come into these markets thinking that they want money, but what they truly want is to gamble. They want to feel excitement. Some people, like you and me, you and I, we come into the markets because we want to make money, not because we want excitement. And so naturally, we're going to take actions that gear us in that direction. And one of those actions would be being detached from the outcome of a trade, so that you can just let it do its thing, and let the market move. So that's kind of my approach in these situations. Now, downside remains the same. I think that if we kind of lose this level here, we're not looking amazing. And I think if we lose this level here, we're really in trouble. And I think, look, it's not that we're not looking amazing if we lose this level. It's just that I don't want to lose this level for long, Like if we're below this level for more than an hour or more than a day, I think we're in trouble. But if we're below this level for, 15 minutes or a few seconds, then brilliant. I mean, that's the best case scenario. So really, I think that the super, super important invalidation is going to be the bottom of this yellow box, which again sits at about $65,000. You can draw this differently on your side. It's kind of open to interpretation here, but just, the lower kind of 65K range, if we kind of get below that, I think it's going to be a real issue. But other than that, I think we're chilling, and then, a little bit of support below anyway, so it's no big deal. Let's take a look at a couple more tweets here, though. We got Alex Becker here saying Bitcoin is going well above 100K. This means selling at 67 makes you a pre-poor douche canoe. Glad we could clear this up. That is hilarious. Alex Becker always coming in with the, charged takes. Bitcoin, let's fucking go, saying, according to Polymarket, pro-Bitcoin Donald Trump is now leading Harris by 29%. I want to say something about pro-Bitcoin Donald Trump. Donald Trump, before this election hype, was very anti-crypto and very anti-Bitcoin, to the point where he was saying completely unsubstantiated, completely false claims about Bitcoin, saying how it's, worthless and stuff like that. And that only changed as a campaigning leg to stand on in this election. Most people don't have a good enough memory to remember what politicians said, be it Trump or Kamala or anybody else and their grandmother. But I do, and I'm gonna remind you guys about things like this, because acting like he is a pro-Bitcoin candidate is just stupid. It's clearly just to get votes. I don't even think it's effective, because how many people are actually going to vote based on crypto legislation? So this is just false. He's not pro-Bitcoin. He's pro-votes. And if he can get votes, he'll say anything he wants to say. So that's important. I obviously think he's the better candidate. That's very important. I'm not trying to say I'm licking up to Kamala. I think she's I think she's a disaster. But I don't think Trump is substantially far ahead of her. But yeah, is it bullish for Bitcoin? Probably overall a little bit bullish for Bitcoin. What's more interesting is that he's leading her by such a big margin. He's up by over 70% now, according to Polymarket. So different polling agencies are saying different things, but the betting market seemed pretty clear that that he's going to win. So we're just going to have to see what happens. It's going to be very interesting to watch what happens on election night and see what happens with all of those inactive ballots that have been registered to vote, but for dead people or people that are moved out of state and stuff like that. So obviously that happened last time. We'll see how that goes this time, and I won't say too much more on this YouTube video here, because YouTube's still controlled by the lefties, isn't it, Ghost? It's controlled by the lefty little crazy motherfuckers up in where? Up in Silicon Valley, right? Palo Alto and all that. So anyway, we're getting off track a little bit. BlackRock buys. I only say this, you guys know I'm a real one. I know many of you guys feel the same, but no one talks about it, so I'm okay to say it. BlackRock buys the dip, buys 4,800 BTC, and we are seeing the total IBit shares Bitcoin flows since they started, and you're just seeing their gradual growth. Nice little kind of pickup right here. I know a lot of you guys want to see Ghost, by the way, so let me pull it on here for you. Ghost, come here. Oh, what's up? Can you guys see him? Ghost, come here. Good boy, Ghost. Can you show yourself to the camera? Camera wants to see you. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's just drank his water and gone for his walk. Yeah, and he's a messy motherfucker, but he's a cool guy. Bitcoin Magazine, BlackRock and Fidelity spot Bitcoin ETFs did a combined 1.3 billion in trading volume today. So there's clearly lots going on over there. This is not the sign of a market that's going to be dipping back down below 60K, in my opinion. I just, to allege that this is going to happen, but then the next thing that happens is we enter a bear market. Well, to be fair, that's exactly what happened when CME futures launched in December 2017. But what we have now is all of this hype coming in from the bear market, and then the ETF launches in the bull market. So we're in a very, very different market environment. Last time the institutional activity started at a market peak. This time it started after a bear market was finished. And I think that, you're basically, your argument, if you think we're going to go back down below 40K, 50K, 60K, your argument then is that we're kind of entering we're in another bear market now. That's your argument. And, I just have to look at the facts, and the facts are that sentiment is pretty shot, in my opinion, in my view, but the numbers are highly representative of a bull market right now. So, again, for me, it's just weighing up what's more likely. Is it more likely that people are reading it wrong and getting a little bit burnt out psychologically, but the market is actually in a pretty good place? Is that more likely? Or is it more likely that we're actually seeing the best numbers from every single metric, Bitcoin's leaving exchanges, tons of inflows from institutions, a 7-8 month consolidation, at an all-time high? By the way, we're forgetting that this consolidation happened at an all-time high, which means that we couldn't get rejected yet. But despite all of those facts, because they are facts, despite all of those facts, we're actually still weak, and we're actually still, and S&P is at all-time highs. It's just silly. I just don't think the probabilities are on the side of bears. I've been saying it in nearly every single video, so it's going to be quite embarrassing if I'm wrong. But I'm just saying what's in front of me, and that's what I've been doing on this channel for the last 6-7 years. Bitcoin archive here. Bitcoin MACD, this is a momentum oscillator, just made a bullish crossover on the weekly chart for the first time in over a year. And this is a pretty big deal. I mean, we're seeing the very, very long-term time frames look beautiful. ladies and gents. Just beautiful. I mean, look at this Ichimoku cloud here. If Bitcoin did fall down into the 50 or 40k range, I mean, there's nothing but support over here, and it is a lot of support. You know, that's the EMA ribbon. But if we look at, I'm sorry, that's the Ichimoku cloud. But if we look at the EMA ribbon right here, weekly time frame, a ton of support. I mean, it could not get better than this as well for Bitcoin here on the weekly time frame. I mean, you know, so if you zoom out, it's an amazing chart. If you zoom in a little bit more to the daily, it is an amazing chart. You zoom in a little bit more on the 4 hour, it's an amazing chart. You zoom in a little bit more on the hourly, and it's a little bit shaky. It might be neutral. But that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. I mean, if you have a bearish hypothesis, I want you to paint it for me and send it to me on Telegram. You've got my direct contact link to me on Telegram right here, and I'll feature it in a video and I'll talk about it. You know, but I don't see them. I don't see them right now, so that's why I'm being very vocal in this direction. But ladies and gents, I hope you've enjoyed this video. You know what to do. If you have, smash up those likes, double check that you're subscribed and you've checked the bell icon, and check out those big bonuses down below for you guys. If you're interested, when you start trading, you get that money in your account. Any profits you make are going to be yours to withdraw. But always check your local laws and regulations before you engage on any exchange in the crypto markets. All right, ladies and gents, thank you all very much for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed this one. I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.